Okay, so we are going to do a pod review today on this pepper right over here. Probably can't see it very well, but this thing right here, that is called the Anaheim Pepper. I believe I wrote down Anaheim Hot, which is there's generally a sweeter version. There's actually several varieties of Anaheim. It's not just Anaheim Pepper. There's like a New Mexico University version of it. New Max, they call them. I believe there's a New Max, a cup. Then there's an improved version of it, and then you got Anaheim Hot, and then you got Anaheim. So there's several different versions. I believe this one's the Anaheim Hot. If it's not hot, then it's probably the sweet one. So I'm not sure. The writing came off on a tag. I know it's an Anaheim, but I'm not sure if it's the hot or not. But I'm pretty sure it's the hot one. So why don't we pick this pepper? Now, I got a couple of them on here this year. It didn't grow very big because this plant really needs to be grown on its own in your garden, and you'll get a lot of peppers off it. If you grow it in a tight canopy, it's going to get crowded down because it's generally a larger pepper producing variety, and they need more light and they need to be separated from other plants. So don't put your larger peppers like I do where all the other peppers are going to outgrow it. But as soon as I pick this pepper off, it's probably going to throw up a couple of stems, and I should get a few more way up there in the top of that canopy over there, and we should get some more by the end of the year. But nonetheless, we have one here we can actually do a review on. Now, I do got a couple of good sized ones on here. You can see over here, there's a nice one here. That one's getting quite big. It's still green. But this red one, or brown one, if you will, part of the reason why sometimes your peppers go brown, like this, or dark maroon or brown, it depends on what you're feeding it, and it also depends on the type of pepper it is. When the pepper itself gets exposed to sunlight, some plants produce a sunshade, which is like a black type of coloring on the peppers. For example, I'll show you. Some pepper varieties will produce a blackening shade like you see on this pepper here. Right here, this is a better example. See, like that black tinge on it? That's a sunshade that the plant produces to protect either the fruit, or sometimes it produces it on a leaf to protect the leaf. Other varieties of peppers, like this one, or this one here, Topepo Russo, this one will turn a brown color, as you can see down here. And that's its way of making a sunshade to protect the plant or the fruit from sunburn. So there's several different reasons why you get a chocolate color on your peppers. That's not the same thing as a chocolate variety of pepper. There is a difference. Sometimes peppers will turn brown, but that doesn't mean they're chocolate. The only reason why they turn brown is that is the plant's way of protecting the fruit from either sunlight, or it could even be, like I said, something you're adding to your soil. Now, I add a lot of magnesium to my, not just magnesium, but Epsom salt to my plants. Every watering I give these plants have a dose of Epsom salt, which has sulfur in it. So that may have a contributing factor as to why a lot of my peppers will be brown instead of red. That will eventually turn red, and so will this. It'll turn to a nice bright red like that. And if you put it in sunlight for a couple of days, it'll turn red right away. But a lot of times you'll find that peppers like this will get dark in color, or they'll turn brown a lot of times because of sunlight. And it could also be the additives that you're adding to the fertilizer that you're fertilizing with. So let's get you in here, give you a good look at the Anaheim Hot. I believe that's what it is, the Anaheim Hot, but it may not. Look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous pepper? Try to get good lighting here. I don't know what's good until sun changes angles, so you can't face the same way the whole time. Just a gorgeous looking pepper. Anaheims are a very big selected pepper among commercial growers because they really do produce very well when they're grown by themselves in direct sunlight. It's kind of like growing bell peppers. When you grow bell peppers, you really need to grow bell peppers completely by themselves. Do not grow them like I do here. You want those to grow completely by themselves because they don't want to be crowded out in any way for them to make a large fruit. That's just the way it works. All right, so let's turn you around and give it a go. Alright guys, here we are. We are doing another pod review today, and today is going to be on a pepper you're probably very familiar with, and you see these a lot of times in the supermarkets. So this is called the Anaheim pepper, and there are several different variations of this pepper. One's improved. I think there's a new max version. There's a couple of hybrid types like this that Bonnie Plants makes, and there's like the Anaheim Hot, and then there's also one that's called Anaheim Sweet, or just Anaheim pepper, and it's generally like a poblano. It gets very low heat to almost no heat at all. So it's not totally sweet all the time, but it's generally not a hot pepper. So I'm pretty sure this is the hot one. The hot ones are usually not that hot. They're less than a jalapeno if I remember. But again, depending on how you grow your plants is going to determine how hot some of these peppers get. Now, I did a video recently on how to make hot peppers hotter, and stressing plants is one of the ways you get hot peppers hotter. So we don't know if this plant was dealing with some kind of a stress or not, so it could be a hot one. All right, without any further ado, let's give it a go. So far it's a sweet pepper and no heat, but there might be heat when I get up towards the top of the seeds. It tastes a lot like the Marconi Giant. There's not that much different. I would say this might be a little bit more tangier than the Marconi Giant, but other than that, it pretty much tastes the same as the Marconi Giant. Now, there's a flip side to this. Both peppers, Marconi Giant, Anaheim, Cubanelle pepper, all of these types of peppers can be eaten green. And a lot of times they are bought, sold, and cooked with in a green stage because they exhibit a different flavor and a different effect to your palate. So when you let them ripen up like I do, you got to remember, if you're somebody who's going to be cooking with sausages and you're looking for that green pepper type flavor, don't let them ripen, because when you let them ripen all the way like this, they are going to get sweet. And some people don't want that in their cooking. When they're cooking, they want that pepper flavor, but they're not looking for the sweetness in their dishes. So keep that in mind. These peppers can be eaten both ways. In general, if you're going to eat this pepper fresh, you probably want to ripen it up and add a little bit of sweetness to your salad or something like that. If you're going to cook with it, you might want to pick them early while they're still in the green stage, just before they really turn red. You don't want to pick them too early because they really lack a lot of flavor when you pick them when they're too small. But you want to get them just right before they start getting ready to turn red, and then use them at that stage, because the starches didn't convert to sugars, and you still get that nice peppery, strong peppery flavor without the sweetness in it. So once that pepper goes red, you're going to start tasting the sweetness, and that might not be what you're looking for. So just keep that in mind. But so far this pepper is a sweet pepper, and like I say, the hot peppers can sometimes be sweet, sometimes not, but a lot of times if there is heat, it's usually up here. So let's take another bite. Wow, that thing had heat on it now. See what I mean? Okay, now it's got heat on it. You see that? That very bottom bite had absolutely no heat. Went up a little bit. It's got some heat on it. Not crazy hot. It's nothing like that, but it's warm. And it threw me for a loop because I didn't expect it to come in that strong. This thing's got like a... it's got a strange kind of heat. It was like an acidy heat that just kind of squished out of it as soon as I started chewing it. And it goes right to the back of the throat, forces its way down your throat, and sometimes that's how you gag, because you're not ready for it. The heat kind of throws you off, and that acidy flavor, it's like a tangy acidy flavor that comes out with the heat. That sometimes throws you off, and you don't swallow right, and you're either gulping air down with it, or it goes down the wrong pipe. You know, it goes in the windpipe. That's no good. That's a good way to cough it up or choke or something like that, you know. So, yeah, it could throw you off. That one just threw me off. But, yeah, this is the Anaheim Hot. But it's not very hot. Right now, I would say, Scoville-wise, anywhere between 100 to 500. It's not crazy heat on it. I would imagine if I go all the way up to the seeds, which is no point in me doing, I'm going to save the rest of that. I'm going to add this to some home fries and eggs, and I'm going to eat that for breakfast. So I just wanted to give you an idea on the flavor and the heat. If I go up towards the top and it's a lot harder, I can guarantee you it's going to If you feel heat at this stage, it's already going to be a warm pepper. But again, it's not a very hot pepper. It can be about half the heat. From what I've read on it, it can be they can get as hot as half the heat of a jalapeno, but not quite as hot. Jalapenos generally go from 10 to 15,000 on a Scoville scale. So you're talking about half of that, maybe around 5,000. That's like a mulatto pepper, or Cubanelles fall into that range. They generally go into there. So it will have that kind of heat. But like I say, there are several different variations of the Anaheim pepper, and you got to pick the one that you're kind of looking for. This one is the hot version. I like the hot peppers. When you cook with them, it spreads out nice and even. It's not too hot, especially for breakfast. I'm not eating Reapers or nothing. So it's not too hot, but it goes really good with your cooking in the morning, and it's nice and easy on your early part of the day. So I do like to cook with these mild heat peppers a lot. But that's it. That was just a quick pod review on the Anaheim Hot Pepper. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.